Hey guys, so we have a break this week. Thanks to Golden Week in Japan, we are without JJK. But I figured I would take this opportunity to talk about the MVP of this whole Sukuna arc. And I'm not talking about Yuji or Gojo or even Yuta. I'm talking everyone's favorite questionable little brother, UiUi. Specifically, I want to break down what exactly is going on with his curse technique, since as of chapter 258, Gege has surprised us with the fact that UiUi is not only the best Uber in the verse, but also the mastermind behind the soul swapping shenanigans that we've been theorizing about as a community for what feels like an eternity at this point. So this isn't a power scaling or super in-depth character breakdown of UiUi. I just want to focus on his actual technique and what makes it so special that even the King of Curses has acknowledged them. Although honestly, as long as you're not Yuji, it seems like that's a pretty easy feat. First off, UiUi is one of those characters that are currently using a binding vow to increase his curse energy output. The vow is that he is unable to use his curse techniques unless specifically given permission to do so by his older sister Meimei. UiUi, being the questionable doting little brother that he is, benefits from the vow greatly as it increases the effectiveness and output of all his techniques. For the most part, this technique is fairly basic. On the surface level, UiUi simply teleports people by concealing himself in a chosen marked target in a sheet, and then instantly he is able to spatially transport across massive distances. We first saw this occur when he was able to transport himself and his sister out of Shibuya and all the way to Malaysia. We have also seen UiUi use this technique to the annoyance of the king himself to transport the wounded and dead out of Sukuna's way. Something that was so stealthy and fast that initially the king was unable to identify what was happening. So this is where things get interesting. In chapter 258, we finally got an answer from Gege in regards to two different questions. The first one being what Yuta meant when he stated the infamous "we cheated" line, and secondly, what exactly was going on between Yuji and Kusakabe in chapter 222. When we got this infamous panel, initially the fandom was at arms, and many a theory has been made to somehow figure out exactly how Yuji and Kusakabe switched bodies, with many believing it to be Yuji's technique. It wasn't until chapter 258 where everything fell into place and we learned that UiUi is the man with the plan. He has quite literally shaped the history of the JJK world with his abilities, and this is how it works. In his own words, UiUi is able to mark two objects and swap them out. That includes the ability to mark someone's soul. In JJK, the body and the soul are completely different and separated. So in UiUi's own words, the body is a box and the soul is the contents. He's able to freely mark the contents of the box without changing what isn't outside, making it a equivalent exchange, which is completely different from something like Mahito's ability to transfigure the soul, something that quite literally would change the box. So far we know of two drawbacks to this technique, the first being the most obvious. The soul swapping part of UiUi's technique can only be activated if he has the complete consent of the people involved. In other words, he wouldn't be able to just reach out and grab somebody's soul. Instead, that person would have to give UiUi access to it before anything could happen. Next up for the limitations, during the flashback in chapter 258, UiUi very clearly states that there's a limit on how many times he could swap a person's soul. He's only able to swap a soul of a single person twice in a month. This is how Yuji was able to learn things like RCT and New Shadow Style, Simple Domain. Also, this answers the question of what Yuta meant when he stated, "we cheated." I really only have one main theory as far as the future of the series goes, and it's a pretty simple one. I think Gege is setting us up for the possibility that Megumi might be swapped out of Sukuna's body, or Megumi's body, depending on how you look at it. There is a question of consent, but I think Gege could write around this by playing into the fact that Sukuna's baiting ritual, although not completely shedding Megumi, did connect the two in a way that might allow Megumi to consent to a swap. Or even crazier, Megumi swaps for another soul, and we finally get that inner world brawl with the king himself. And that's it. UiUi has been a silent hard carry of JJK for a while now, and like I said earlier, his ability to Uber people on and off the battlefield was already incredibly impressive, but now adding in the fact that all our main characters could only be at the level they are at now thanks to UiUi's soul swap, the boy is straight deadly. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe. We are trying to grow the channel, so every little bit helps, and I will see you next time. Bye.